Hello, and thank you for tuning into this video. I'm going to be posting a series of video reviews of various diecast models in the 1/18 scale. I've got quite a large collection of vehicles and I'm going to be reviewing them bit by bit, just releasing videos every now and again. A lot of the models I'm going to review are models which I don't think there are many videos for on the internet, so hopefully some different content that some people may find interesting and enjoy. So I'm starting off with this car. This is an ESCORT RS Turbo. If you are in the UK, this is probably a very common sight if you're above a certain age. If you're in the USA, you never got these cars, you just got a really rubbish version of a similar car, which I'm very sorry about, because they should have sold this car everywhere, but they didn't. They only sold it in Europe. This particular one is a very accurate looking model of the 1986 to 1991 Series 2 RS Turbo. To be more specific, this is the 1986 version. They did later facelift this car in 1990, which had different front bumper, different rear spoiler, different interior trim, but otherwise was more or less the same vehicle. People who are very sort of diehard Ford fans will know exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about 86 spec or 90 spec. Well, this is the 86 spec. The original car was a very beloved hot hatch, very much of its time. The sort of Golf GTI and various other cars this was in direct competition to. The original car had about 132 horsepower, was powered by a 1.6 engine with a great big turbo on it. What everybody loved about the original car was that you could tune these cars up. You could literally go down to a tuning shop, get it chipped, put a big exhaust on it, turn up the boost and get it up to about 170, 180 horsepower, and it'd be spinning first, second, third gear. And that's before you spent any big money on big turbos and lots of other bits and pieces. But the tuning on these cars is been done, for the last 30 odd years. So everyone knows about the tuning potential of these cars if they know about these cars in real life. But they're very sought after now. I think these used to be fetching at the bottom of the market anything from £1,500 to a couple of £1,000 not so long ago. Now a decent one of these will cost you anything from £10,000 to £20,000, and if you want a concourse example that's going to be wrapped up in cotton wool, you're talking 25 up to about 40,000. I think the most expensive one ever sold was around £50,000, and that was for this particular shape, whereas the original Series 1, some of those have gone for even more ridiculously high prices. So these have become incredibly sought after, genuinely bona fide classic cars. Anyway, getting back to the actual review, which is what this video is about. This is a 1/18 scale model made by Otto. Otto is a French company. They make some lovely models. They tend to make them in quite small batches. So this particular car is numbered, and it is number 620 of 1250. So worldwide, the whole release of this was 1250 units. I very fortunately bought this on pre-order, paid a £10 deposit, waited about 6 months for it, and I think I paid about 75, maybe £65 in total for it, which is an absolute bargain, because these are now changing hands for between £200 and £300 on eBay and various other sites, purely because you cannot get them. There's 1250 worldwide. I really wish I'd bought 3 or 4 of them and kept some of them wrapped up and held on to them, because I could have sold them on for a decent return now, but hey ho, I didn't realise they'll become so sought after. The models themselves are quite unusual in the fact they're made of resin. It looks like a regular diecast model, but when you sort of look at it in close, you'll notice that there's no opening features. So this is one of the downsides to the resin models. You don't have opening doors, bonnet, the wheels are fixed in position, but they do rotate. However, the upside is you get incredibly sharp detail. The shut lines on the bonnet are brilliant. The shut lines on the doors, again, really sharp. The detail around the wheel arch, absolutely brilliant. The detail on the wheels, the bumpers, everything about this model is just so accurate. If you put this next to the real car and scaled it up, I mean, there's very little to tell the difference. The detail and things like the bonnet vents, I mean, they look very accurate, even though they're not actually open. They do look like they're open because they've actually painted inside each vent, which looks really good. The same with the little scuttle along here, that's all painted in. I don't know how they do this, by hand or machine, but it looks very, very accurate. All the little details on this car are very true to the original. The petrol filler cap, the little insert in the bumpers, the door handles, the door locks. What also adds to these models is the glass or windows is incredibly thin. I mean, if I put a bit of pressure on that, that will bow in so easily. The downside of that is obviously it's very fragile. The upside is it's incredibly clear. I mean, you look through the windscreen, you can see all the way through the car perfectly, just like real glass. On cheaper models, that is thick plastic which distorts, turns yellow, looks horrible. This is so much more realistic. I mean, that looks like real glass from here. So that is also the same with the sunroof. Very, very nice. So the detail on this car, I'd say, is very, very good. I mean, you're talking, I think, sort of up to the standard of Auto Art and, you know, maybe Kyosho, etc. It's certainly not your sort of Barago or Maisto cheap rubbish. Very, very nice model. It looks so authentic. Little details like the spotlights are so accurate. You look at them from the side, the profile of them, the indicators. The only thing that lets this model down, I think, which is a very, very small flaw, there's no side repeater. Now, there should be a little square repeater here, and it's actually missing. Now, I don't know how they let that through, because these models are incredibly accurate, and to miss such a small detail, I mean, they could have painted it on. It could have been a sticker or a little plastic light like the front, but they've I don't understand how they've missed that, because everything else is just so good. But as you go around the model, you've got really good detail. You can even see the little mouldings here for the jacking points as exactly in the right place. Oh, sorry about that. Exactly in the right place as they would be on the real car. So the level of detail, I think, is just very good. Even the exhaust, if you look at that, that is the right size, right proportion, just like the real car. The spoiler, very, very accurate again. I mean, it's just a really good model. It's all round, even little things like round the window here. You've got this little black insert, and with a lot of models, they would have cheaped out and just made it sort of one piece. So here you would have no break between the door, just a little white piece, but no, it's actually got the black plastic triangle section there. So this is, if you've ever seen the real car in the flesh, this is such a good, accurate model. And being a 1/18 scale, it's a decent size. Now, the interesting thing about this, although it's resin, it weighs a ton, which is really unusual. I mean, it's, you know, maybe about 2 kilos, so it's significantly heavier than a lot of metal die-cast cars. So I don't know how they put so much weight into a model that's essentially just resin and bits of plastic and bits of rubber. There's no metal at all in this car, apart from maybe the axles for the wheels. So yeah, I mean, it's a great quality model. I think it's fantastic. I think it looks great. They have only ever done one release of this particular version, which was just in this diamond white colour, which is very true to the original car. They did actually make these cars in a very small number of colours in real life. You had mercury grey, which is a fantastic colour. You had jet black, just a shiny gloss black, diamond white like this car, Rosso red, and also a radiant red. There were no blues, no silvers, no other colours to speak of. I think if they released some other colours of this particular model, I'm absolutely positive they would get sold out immediately and they'd be incredibly popular. I mean, if they released a mercury grey, I'd be the first one putting a deposit down on a mercury grey one, because I think that's the best colour this car came in. But I think this is a fantastic model to have. If you're lucky enough to have one of these cars in real life, a lovely gleaming diamond white Escort Turbo like this, I think you would absolutely love to have one of these on your mantelpiece. Well, good luck finding one. If you can find one on eBay, you're talking a couple of £100, but I think it's worth buying, because I'm sure these will go up in value even more. So if you really want one, I don't think they're ever going to get any cheaper than they are now, unless they suddenly decide to re-release them, which is unlikely because Otto generally don't re-release models. Otto is a really good brand. They've got a good website. If you go and have a look on their website, see some of the models they've got up and coming, and you'll be surprised at the variety. They've got lots of European stuff, great models of BMWs, Mercs, Audis, lots of Fords, all kinds of things you can think of. But what you will find is a lot of their models are completely sold out. You'll see a back catalogue, but you will not be able to buy the vast majority of what's on their website, which is a great shame because I think they do some of the best, most realistic looking models around. But it's a good little tour around of this model. I've not seen anyone else do a really detailed review of this particular model, which is why I thought I would do it. Now, I have got quite a vast collection of other cars, so I'm going to be doing videos. I'm going to try and do a few more videos, see what people think of them. If people like the videos and have some comments to share, etc., let me know, and I'll do some other videos. I was going to start off with my Ford collection because I've got lots of other Fords. I've got a number of Escorts, Ford Capris, Sierra Cosworths, Sapphire Cosworths. I've even got things like Lotus Carlton, and I've got a load of American stuff and other European. So I'm just going to sort of post some videos, see how we get on, see if you guys like these videos, and if you do, be sure to tune in for some other videos. If you want to subscribe, go for it. If you don't want to subscribe, don't worry about it. I'm not here to try and win lots of views. Just thought I'd post a couple of videos. It was just a little hobby of mine with these cars, so thought I'd share it with somebody else, especially with this particular car, because I know there's so much love for this actual real car in the UK. Anyway, thanks for watching this video and have a great night. Thank you.